Hello, welcome to Wally Bar. And in another video, I mentioned about my my Dewalt radial arm saw and the fact that its recoil isn't working. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it off and have a look inside it. That might be interesting, mightn't it? So what this little device does, like I said before, it has this cable which is broken. It's not recoiling anymore because it goes into this device at the back here, and it pulls the actual radial arm saw, creates some resistance for the radial arm saw to be able to pull itself back. And I find it such a good feature. And if I can't fix this, I'm going to have to find another solution, probably a weight in the pulley, just to hold it back, create that little bit of resistance. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to remove this little device. I've just loosened the bolts, so it's make it a little bit easier. So let's do it, shall we? So let's take it off here like so. Make sure you're in frame. There we go. So that is the device at the back here, and it's held into place with these two Allen screws, or hex screws. So I'm just going to unscrew those. It's a bit fiddly. It's a bit fiddly. Here we go. Because I've built up around with all this other gubbins, it's quite hard to get to. Oh, so it comes off quite easily. Like I said, I just managed to loosen a little bit to start with. But I haven't actually taken this physically off yet. Now this is when you kind of regret having all these units and all this stuff built up around everything, so you can't get to anything. So make sure you put your bolts somewhere safe. So I'll just put them up here out of the way. Normally I'd use a magnetic dish, but I don't know where it is. I'm not. Right, so we're going to remove that off here like so. It comes off with the stop arrangement as well, which is fine. What I'll do is when I put that back on, I'll make sure, if I do put it back on, I'll make sure that it's got, some grease on those screws. So that's the stop. That's come off independently. Even if this device doesn't go back on, or what they call it, they call it running back power adjustment. So that's what they call it. And plus and minus, I don't know how you're supposed to adjust it, if that is a possibility. But on the whole, it's not working anyway. So if I don't manage to fix it, it's not going to go back, and I'll have to have another solution, like I say. So anyway, let's put this down here like so. Move this camera around a bit. So I'm not going to edit this video, because I'm getting a bit lazy in my editing, so it's timing. I just don't have much time, if I'm absolutely honest. Bring this light around here so you can see. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take these two screws and see what's inside it. Now, if it's like it's not a screwdriver or a recoil, I've got to be careful that the whole thing goes ping and springs out all over the place and loses half the bits and pieces. So hopefully it's not like that. Oh, hang on, I just released itself. Maybe it's just gummed up inside. I just released these two screws, and the actual spring just actually pinged back into place, quite strongly actually, in fact. It might be a case of, maybe I've just got to pull this wire through a little bit, and then, or replace the wire even, I don't know yet. We'll see. Now, do I dare? Oh, I don't know. I've got my doubts. I don't know. Alright, this might... I see what's going on inside. There's a wire inside there. I don't know if you can see it. And I can't take this right off. I've got a bit of a worry that the whole thing's going to go fucking loopy. Ah, so and now I get it. See, where it says positive and negative, basically you'd wind this face cover one way to increase the resistance, and the other way to decrease in resistance, and then you put the screws back in to lock it off. Now, what I don't understand, I don't think these two screws here are original. They might be, but they're just two stainless steel screws that was holding this cover on. I don't think they're original, because I think they'd have been actual screws, because these are just self-tappers. So I don't think they're original. Now, what I'd have to do to reduce the actual tension on there so I can work on it, I'm going to have to unwind it a little bit, and I don't necessarily want to ping the whole thing off at this stage, because I've got a funny feeling there's going to be a spring in there where it's got a loop on the end, a bit like a lawnmower recoil, pull start on the lawnmower. And once the tension's off, I should be able to pull this off without it going loopy. Now the tension's off now. I'm hoping. I don't want to ruin it, that's the thing, you see. There you go. So, yeah, I was right. There's not necessarily a coil. What's happened is you've got this little nylon little slot, and that goes into that slot there. So this provides the tension. So this is the loaded part. Now, being that released itself, I don't actually want to I don't want to remove all this because I like there's a spring behind there and it's going to fly everywhere. It'll be a nightmare to put back. And being it's actually recoiled, I'm just hoping I'm going to be able to that there's enough wire on there so I can pull that wire right through where it's gone all frayed and put it through these locking pieces so I can carry on using it. That is my hope. Whether or not I get it through that. Oh god, yeah, it's a bit nasty inside. I can see what's happened. Inside here, there's obviously frayed, and all these little straggly bits of cable have, well, gone a bit weird inside. It's gone like a bad hair day. So how much of this cable would I need to remove? Oh god. So the scenario is, where it's gone a bit crazy there, I'd need to pull that, get that through that hole. Otherwise I'm going to keep pulling this and it's going to keep going a bit stupid. Shit. That's my French. Right. No. I've got a feeling I'm going to have to... I don't want to. We've got that there, we've got a screw in it. It's just literally that. Oh, I don't know what to do now. I feel I've got to take it out so I can actually get that cable trimmed back. I'm hoping there's enough cable on there because it hasn't got to travel far. Oh dear, I might have broke it. Oh no. I ain't got no choice. I don't think I've actually got any physical choice. Right. Ah, it's better than I thought. Right, the actual spring is inside it and it's locked in place. There's a washer here, friction washer, so put that to one side. And now the tension's off. Now what's been happening is basically that, as you can see here, is peeling back. So I have an option. Looking at this, all I really need to do is to replace the cable, and all it is a brake cable. So I think it's fixable. Right, so what I've got here is I've got some cutters. So all I'm going to do now is cut this back to wherever it starts going a little bit stupid. It's probably about there. Then all that bit there should pull out with the little brass fittings up the top here as well. They should all pull out. So I've cut that off with a pair of side cutters. So I should be able to pull that out there like so. And that's basically what's called the jam. So it isn't because the spring's broken or anything. It's just that the Bowden cable has basically frayed or broken a bit longer and caused this weird kind of, you know, make good earrings or not. And then we've got these two little locking pieces which would need to go back on. I've got a feeling that we might be able to fix it. I'll be so pleased if I can, because it does work really, really well. So that comes undone quite easily, and all it is like little brass locking screws. There's a hole in it and the screw locks down onto the cable like so. Now I've undone that, I'm just going to cut that cable off there so I can pull it off easier. And then I've got a second one there, put it on top there to roll off. And then we've got a second one here as well. It might be a little bit harder, and that's the stop, another stop. That's it. Oh, that's undone really easy as well. Okay, this is looking good. It's looking good. So now I've got the two stops. Right, you can see them on there. There's two little brass stops. Well, they're just basically they lock off the end of the cable. So I'll put that back up here out of the way. Hopefully, they don't roll off onto the floor and get lost forever. Magnetic dish wouldn't help that anyway, because they're brass. Right, now when I've got this apart, as you see, there's a bit of goo in there. So you want to make sure that is clear inside. So I'm going to get I've got my fluid here that I use when I do my sharpening, a mixture of white spirit and oil. I'm going to put a bit of that in there like so, just to clean off any gunk. Gunk. Like so. Try a little bit of lubricant, I suppose. You could wax this inside here. Not too much, but if you put a little bit of wax in, that'll help. You don't want to put oil because it'll just gum up with all the sawdust and stuff. So that's the old piece of cable which is knackered. That's my French, but it is. And this is the new, well, not new cable, isn't new at all. Anyway, this is the device. The side with the slot goes into the hole, so it goes that way round, like so. I've got to thread this. So basically, get my words out of my worms. So I've got to grab that. I've got to thread it through that hole, doesn't matter, it's not wound on yet, because that'll get sorted when we tension it with the faceplate. So I'm just pulling that through the hole like so. And now this part here, the loaded, you know, the sprung loaded part, which you cannot take apart looking at that, it looks like it's pressed together. So that has to go back into here. I'm quite glad it doesn't come apart, because it seems to work quite nicely without it. So I'm quite impressed actually. The quality is actually fairly good. I was expecting it to be a throwaway job, but it looks like the cables are replaceable. I didn't know that. So that goes in there like so. Right, so now that is literally in there like so. So now what we need to do now is actually coil that on around the actual little pulley. So the cable's getting coiled around, and there's plenty of meat on here, which is quite good. And now what I need to do is I need to preload this using that faceplate. I don't go mad, because I need to be able to... well, actually, it might be better preloading it once it's on the machine. That's what I think. So what I'm going to do, so I made a mistake. Do you know what the mistake is? I forgot about the little frost wash or friction wash, whatever they call it. So let's start again. Out again. This time, let's make sure I put the washer on. It sits into a little recess in the alley casting, and then that goes over the top. First of all, I've got to thread that cable through. Again, sorry for this. What a silly mistake. Got to go through this. It's a bit awkward to thread through because you've got that brass insert that you're really trying to get in the hole. You can't actually see the end of it, so unless that pulls out now. Oh, we're through. We've got to pull that through again, and now this. The nice thing is now I know if I have a problem in the future, I know I can fix it. As long as the actual spring part doesn't break, it's repairable, which is very good. You know, if the cable goes again, you know, then I doubt there'll be enough room if it happens again to actually just do what I'm doing now. But in future, I know that I can actually replace it with a brake cable or some form of. It might be more like a gear change cable actually. I'll get that into that slot. The slot on there, and has to slot over that square of that. Oh. That's it, it's on. I'll turn it around. So this is where you pre-tension it. So for instance, if you want to increase the tension, you turn it that way in the direction of the positive, so anti-clockwise. And what that's doing is it's going to end up tensioning it. But I don't want to do that just yet. I'm going to do that when it's actually on the machine. I will recoil this in a little bit first though, and to pull it through. I hope this video's okay. I'm using a Fimi palm. It's a bit like one of those DJI Osmo pockets, and I haven't actually used it for a video inside yet, so I'm hoping it doesn't look too muddy. So I don't think these two screws are original. But, that's what we've got. I'm talking about screws, where's the screwdriver gone? Oh, there. Right, so just going to do that so it doesn't fall out. I won't do them both, I'll just do one up for now. I might have to use a little dumpy screwdriver to take them out again when I do the tensioning. So this now has to bolt back where it came from. So just put your back around there like so. Right, so that's got to go back on, along with the stop. I don't know if I went on top or below. I went on top. So then we've got our two screws, such as these two here. That has to go on there like so. Locks everything into place. I'm touching my microphone, so hopefully I'm not making a noise. Fiddly, fiddly, fiddly. Oh, I'll put a bit of oil on them, wouldn't I? Make it a bit easier. Not quite what I meant, but yeah. Not what's got to go in there. Got to make sure that flies out of the way. Hope you can see that. It's probably a bit dark then. I've got a bit of a shadow. I really hope this video is okay, but I haven't used this camera before, and I haven't got the mic settings right as well. On there like so, and then this one that goes through the hole here on the saw, let's pull that back a little bit. Get a little bit easier, because then I don't have the tension on it, or so much tension. So that's going to go on there like so. And then that little brass bit goes over this. Yeah, that's locked on there. And now I've got to do the same on the other side of it for some reason. And I think the idea of that is when you recoil it so this doesn't poke through. I don't see how that can happen, but I'll just do it how it was, or how I actually took it off. Just like that. Right, so, okay, that is now reconnected and I've got full travel. Just needs a little bit more resistance, so I just need to adjust it. So what I've got to do is I've got to take these two screws back out again. That way. And then I can twist that thing round, get some tension. Oh, it's really fiddly. So hold the plate and make sure the plate can't push off. And now what I've got to do now is to increase that tension. So bring that back like so. So there's no additional tension. And then we just turn that this way. So you're effectively winding it up. You're winding the spring up like so. We'll do that a couple of times. That should be about enough. We can test it actually. If I hold that there and pull this, oops, sorry, and pull that. How much resistance is there? It's enough to pull the saw back. Enough. Maybe one more turn, look at that. Because that will settle in anyway. There's not quite enough resistance. That one turn should just be enough. So I'm going to leave it at that. Because I'm fairly certain that's going to be enough. Just got to tighten that screw up in the back there. Oh, I can get. You're probably going to have machine screws, I'd have thought, because I don't think these screws are original. If you got one, not all of these saws were fitted with one of these recoil things, or running back. What do they call it? Running back power. Right, that's it. That's perfect. Pulls all the way. Bring that back like so. So it's pulling all the way back like so. And now there's resistance, and it pulls the saw back into place. So you're less likely to leave the saw in the open position with it running. Less likely. Anyway, that's my little video on how I, well, investigated and found out how to fix my power running back device on my Dewalt Radial arm saw, which is a bit like a lawnmower recoil. But anyway, thank you for watching, and if you can be as kind and click the whole like and subscribe, and maybe the little bell icon, because then you get a warm, fuzzy feeling in your pocket, and that'll be me uploading another video. And I know you'll be excited about that.